Starting lean doesn't mean starting sloppy. Here are 6 common legal mistakes that I see startups make quite a lot in my practice, and they typically blow up much later when the business has grown. Mistake number 1, no written agreement with co-founders. You're friends now, everything feels easy, but what happens when someone wants out, or gets sick, or gets incapacitated, or unfortunately even dies? What happens? Having no written founder agreement is a ticking time bomb, and is a way startups usually beg or ask for future disputes much later on in their growth cycle. If you don't protect things like roles, what is each partner or what is each proprietor supposed to do, things like exit rights, things like equity, who owns what, who contributes what, and other general business stuff or key things upfront, then unfortunately you're building a company on good vibes and not proper legal structure that is required. Always try and come up with these founding agreements much early when things are still good. You can imagine starting to work on such an agreement when things have already blown up. You're already having friction with your business partner. It will be very difficult to come up with such an agreement. So make these things while things are still good, while the business is still in the honeymoon stage. Mistake number 2, hiring without written contracts or clear roles. Verbal promises don't hold up, and they are very hard to enforce in a court of law. We'll sort it out later, that is what most proprietors say. There's no need to rush with this, we'll sort it out much later, don't worry. That might unfortunately turn out into a wrongful termination claim, IP theft, or even a salary dispute much later on, because you did not have a written agreement about how things are going to operate or work out. Every engagement needs clear terms, very clear terms. It should be clear to both parties, both the business and the person you're contracting, what is expected, and what's the consideration and how everything is going to work out from A to Z. Whether it's an independent contractor you're onboarding, whether it's an internal staff member, whether it's even an intern, always put the terms in writing. Always. Don't compromise on that. Mistake number 3, ignoring intellectual property registration. You came up with the business name, you designed the logo or contracted a designer to work on the logo for you. Essentially, you built up the brand. People always assume once you register your business name or on eCitizen, that is enough, and you have a registration certificate, that is enough. It is always advisable to go a step further and protect your brand assets, protect your intellectual property assets. Without registering your IP or intellectual property, strictly speaking, then legally, you do not own it. Someone else can trademark it before you. Someone can trademark your name, your logos before you, and possibly stop you from using your own brand name. And suddenly, you can't use your own brand that you painstakingly worked to build. Mistake number 4, using free or AI-generated contracts that you don't even understand. Downloading or copy-pasting contracts from the internet or ChatGPT is not a legal strategy. That is very risky for your business or your startup. There's a reason why lawyers exist. And honestly, there's quite a lot of things that AI cannot do to replace a human mind or a human lawyer in legal transactions. Most of those contracts you download from the internet are very generic. Some of them are outdated, or they are written for other countries. They have not been customized to be used locally here in Kenya. So when you just download them blindly from the internet and start using them without adopting them locally, and if you're not a lawyer, you'll not be able to adopt them locally well, then you're just asking or inviting problems into your business. One wrong clause and you're exposed legally, even without knowing it. Some of those clauses don't even apply to your business and can sink you terribly before a court of law. Mistake number 5, no data protection compliance, not even the basics. If your business is collecting names, emails, phone numbers, or other sensitive personal data, then you're considered to be handling personal data, and you're therefore either a data controller or a data processor, as the case may be. If that applies to you or you collect personal data, then you possibly need a privacy policy or even very clear consent terms before you collect such sensitive personal data. You also need proper data security, even if you're a small business. Ignore this, and one small breach, one tiny breach, or one data subject reporting you to the office of the Data Protection Commissioner, that ODPC complaint can land you in serious legal trouble and possibly end up being fined by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner for misusing personal data. Mistake number 6, skipping licensing or regulatory approvals. Just because other businesses are doing it doesn't mean it's legal. I've heard this a lot. Businesses are just operating without licenses because they see their neighboring businesses are doing it. Well, they might be getting away with it now, but you never know. Maybe you might be the person who is going to be used, or your business is going to be used as an example for others to also start applying. So are you willing to take the risk and wait for you to be used as an example by a regulator? One competitor tip-off to a regulator or even a government audit, and you end up being fined heavily for not having a license, or even possibly being shut down overnight. And you find that the business you worked so hard to build up has been shut down because you're operating without the requisite licenses or regulatory approvals. So start lean, But don't start blind. Avoid all these 6 common mistakes that I've just discussed in this video. Legal mistakes don't normally show up on day 1. They will hit you, and they will hit you hard when you're finally growing. So it's always good to have a good, solid foundation, legal foundation, and avoid all these mistakes.